All right, everyone. Good evening. It's Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Sorry about that false start. We tried to start this before, but today's discussion is going to be about a preview to a summit. So we're not going to go through all the details, but it's going to be a preview to a summit that we're going to have this Saturday on the 7 secrets of innovation from the boy who invented email. Some of you may know back in 1978, when I was a 14-year-old kid, I invented the first email system. Several years ago, I wrote a book called The Boy Who Invented Email and the 7 Secrets of Innovation. And this weekend, on August, 27th, I believe, we're going to be sharing those secrets. And it's going to be a summit every Saturdays, about once every 2 months. Our Truth, Freedom, and Health program actually hosts various detailed events to actually help people get a better understanding of some major issues like systems issues. So this weekend we're going to be really talking about the system of innovation, what it takes to really innovate. So I want to encourage everyone to come to it. If you're not a Truth, Freedom, and Health warrior, I'll show you how you can sign up to do that. But it's going to be the 7 Secrets Innovations Free to All Truth, Freedom, and Health warriors. It's August 27th, this Saturday, from Saturday to 11 a.m. It'll probably be about 2 hours, and we do it all over the world. So I hope everyone has a chance to come to that. We'll be covering a bunch of issues in that, really 7. As we go through this at the summit, you're going to really learn the 7 secrets of innovation, and I'll go through this. The key thing I want to talk about today is that on this August 30th, 1982, 40 years ago, was the invention of email, and I'll talk about that. But more recently, I've created a nonprofit called Innovation Core, where we give money, we give mentoring to kids between the age of 14 through 18. So please be aware of that, because it's money sitting there. We have to give it away. So it's for each one of you to take advantage of, particularly for young kids. All right, so Larry says 7 secrets on the 7th day, Saturday. Oh, okay. Sabbath. Okay. That's interesting. Well, it's recorded, so you can come get it when you also want. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be covering these issues at a high level. Let me just share with you that the innovation, as I mentioned before, is always seen in a very reductionist way. What do I mean by that? It's always assumed that all great innovation must come from centers of power, that only a few people can innovate. And that's why the 7 secrets of innovation is important, because we'll go down to the fundamentals and we'll understand very, very specific aspects of innovation that we'll learn. Those of you who are interested in various other programs, you can go to vashiva.com and you can learn different things out there. But let me start. So what we're going to be covering at this summit is, what is the source of innovation? Where does innovation come from? It's a very, very important question. There's all sorts of illusions about where innovation comes from. The government, centralized governments, pour a lot of money to creating centers of innovation. Sometimes they call it centers of excellence. And we really have to ask, and the summit will cover that, what innovation has really come out of those centers of innovation. From my own personal experiences, many of you know, before, MIT in Cambridge here is considered a center of innovation. But before I came to MIT as a 14-year-old kid growing up in Newark, New Jersey, I actually created the first email system. So on August 30th, 1982, you can see right here, I was issued the first U.S. copyright. This was when I was a teenager. In 1978 is when I had actually created the first email system, when I converted the old-fashioned inter-office mail system, inbox, outbox, folders, all of that stuff to the electronic version, and I named it email. So email is not just a simple exchange of text messages. The simple exchange of text messages goes back to Samuel Morse. IBM was doing it. That's not email. Email is the entire system, inbox, outbox, folders, the BCC, the memo, the CC, all of that, an interlock set of components put into a electronic format. That's what I did as a 14-year-old kid. Now, one of the things we'll talk about at the summit is about the laws of intellectual property. Back in the 70s, there was no way to protect software. It was only 1994 till the Federal Court of Appeals even accepts software as a something that can be patented. Prior to 1994, you had to use copyright to protect your invention. So there's the official copyright I got about 40 years ago. And here's the actual code, all of it, which went into the Smithsonian. And you can see I named the system also email. Not only did I create it, but I also created the term as we know it today, which everyone uses, which actually defines email. And by the way, in those days, I had to use the 5-letter terminology. I got to plug my phone in here because the operating system only allowed 5 characters. So anyway, that's something we'll be covering. But the first thing we're going to be talking about, as I just talked about, is what is the source of innovation? And you can see that right here, okay? The second thing we're going to be talking about, and by the way, those of you, please go to innovationcourse.org. If you have a young kid, if you have anywhere between the age of 14 through 18, they can go to innovationcore.org and they can literally apply. Every year we choose about 8 to 10 kids. So I recommend if you have children, they're welcome to apply to this, and you can go to innovationcore.org and you'll see that there's a little application form here. They can click on that, they apply, and they submit it, and we select about 8 kids each year. So please take advantage of that. If you particularly have children, go to innovationcore.org, okay? So let me go back here, back to our slide presentation. All right, the other thing is, the second thing we'll be talking about at the summit is, what's the first step to be a successful innovator? What's the first step to be a successful innovator? So that we'll also be talking about. So that'll lead to the second secret of innovation. So the first one is, what is the source of innovation? The second is, what's the first step to be a successful innovator? And that will lead to our second secret. I don't want to give it away because I want you guys to come to the summit on Saturday. Next thing is, what does an innovator actually do? So what does an innovator actually do? You know, do they solve world problems? Do they go to the moon? Or what do they actually do? What does an innovator actually do? So that's important to understand, because that will lead to the third secret of innovation. Okay. The next piece here is, who does an innovator serve? Are you serving heads of state? Are you serving the elites? Who are you actually serving? And that leads to the fourth secret of innovation that we'll be discussing. The next thing is, this is a very interesting one. What is the difference between invention and innovation? People sometimes tend to confuse this. Our Innovation Corps Award, there are other awards that they award to people who discovered something in a lab or created something. Innovation is significantly different than invention, okay? So we'll be discussing that. So that will lead to the fifth secret of innovation, that question, which we'll talk about at the summit. The next one is, what are the big legal issues as an innovator? There's one very important legal issue that most innovators need to understand. And we want to, again, educate people on this. So that'll lead to the sixth important aspect of innovation. And then finally, what must an innovator do to make his innovation successful? So, so it's important to recognize that, what does an innovator have to do to make his innovation successful? This is very important. This will really help people understand what is a successful innovation, what makes something innovative, and what makes something non-innovative, right? What leads to a great innovation? Some people make something and it never goes anywhere. Other people make something and it explosively goes. What's that difference? So that's what we'll talk about. The next thing is, what I want to talk about is, innovation ultimately is something you just don't do once and you stop. More recently, August 30th, as I mentioned, 1982 was the invention of email. But more recently, as many of you know, we've been sharing with you truth, freedom, health. Now, we've been trying to get across what is truth, freedom, health. Yes, it's a course. Yes, it's a movement. But most importantly, it's an invention. It's an innovation, to be more specific, because you'll see why. But let me just share something right here. So we have just launched, as a part of the anniversary of the invention of email coming up, we've launched this site, and you can all see it here. If you go to vashiva.com/join, or you can go to truthfreedomhealth.com, whichever one you want to go to. But Truth Freedom Health is itself an innovation, okay? And you can see that it's composed of many, many parts here, okay? It's not just any one particular thing, but it's, for example, includes the Foundations of Systems course. We have ebooks and papers, involves Your Body, Your System. It involves Cytosolve, which is itself is another innovation, which many of you are aware of. It also involves a bunch of other pieces here. You can see that it also involves, let me just, I got to adjust for the people on Instagram here. I'll hold it for them. But you can see that it also involves systems health, the one-on-ones with me that I do, the community, the activism. We have our own forums and our social and our TV, independent of big tech. But this entire thing is a system. So the best way that I can describe this, as you're seeing here, is it says a man who invented email now delivers a Truth Freedom Health system. So it really is an innovation. Truth Freedom Health is an innovation. But what does this innovation do? It makes you smart, okay? So if you use your, washing machine, you could have, in the old days when I go to the Indian villages, people are actually washing their stuff, the old-fashioned way. They go to the river, and they wash their stuff at the river, right? And they have to do a lot of this manually. What the washing machine did was it made that a lot easier for people, so people didn't have to, do that by hand, right? So just like the washing machine did that, it solved a problem. What does Truth, Freedom, and Health solve? What Truth, Freedom, and Health really solves is we have a growing set of people who are getting more and more desperate, more and more confused on what to do, okay? And what Truth, Freedom, and Health does, it's an innovation. It actually makes you smart, okay? So Truth, Freedom, and Health, it says, as you see right here, it makes you street smart, okay? So you may see things as they truly are, beyond left and right versus pro and anti, and improve every aspect of your life, your body, your relationships, your business. So I want people to go there and check this out, but I want it from an innovation standpoint. We'll talk about this as a summit. One of the things we've done is we've scaled it. We have over 360,000 users. It's a global community of people. And we have some incredible stories of innovation. So I actually want to play this for all of you. This is from one of our Truth, Freedom, and Health warrior scholars, and he'll talk to you about why this is an innovation.
My name is Frank Licata. I'm an electrician in Andover, Massachusetts. I've been self-employed for somewhere around 30 years or so. Every day I get up and go to work, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the freedom that being a business owner provides for me.
I work hard for my customers, and it's a labor of love. And when I have time off, I spend as much time as I can with family, and I also have a few hobbies, such as boating, DJing, and amateur radio. Politically, I've always been independent-minded, leaning towards those who appear to be the outside agents of change versus the establishment characters. I would later learn that there is actually a third character called the not-so-obvious establishment. In 2015, I volunteered for a year and a half for Donald J. Trump for president. At the time, he appeared to be the outside agent of change, just like Obama appeared to be in 2008. And of course, history shows that both were not. In 2017, I met actual outside agent of change, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, on his first of what will become 2 runs for U.S. Senate in Massachusetts. Both times, both campaigns, his own party sabotaged him at every turn. Both parties colluded together and did everything they could, including cheating. A lot of people talk about voter fraud, but they don't talk so much about election fraud. And in the September 1st Massachusetts primary, there were actually more votes than voters. And they essentially gypped you out of the primary. Dr. Shiva's landmark federal case exposed the whole thing and caught the eye of the president, who couldn't accomplish anything in federal court regarding election fraud, but was happy to fundraise off it to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars. So what have I learned from all this? I learned that all elections are selections. Nobody is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. But the good news is it's not hopeless and we are not helpless. There's much more of us than there is of them. So we have power together. It took me 5 years to learn things the hard way. And now we have a tool so that you can learn things the easy way. As a tradesman, I wouldn't be able to do my job without the right tools. This is the right tool. Start at truthfreedomhealth.com.
Great. So I hope that helps people. So ultimately, what we've done here is we have created an environment for everyone that people can actually experience getting smarter. Okay. It may seem that's a pretty tall order, but that's what this tool is. The tool that we've created is no different than email. You know, email was a tool. It was an innovation, and Truth, Freedom, and Health itself is an innovation. So please go there, go check out the site, and become a Truth, Freedom, and Health warrior, because you get access to lots and lots of great information. So let me go back to what we're going to be talking about at the summit. So that's, let me go back here. Yeah. So we'll be talking about that. You will learn that there's a deep interconnection between freedom. Freedom is intimately connected to truth as well as innovation. Truth, the pursuit of truth, or the pursuit of creating something, discovering something, is really the aspect of creativity. So without freedom, we can't really get to truth. And many of the great innovations really improve our health. And when you have health, you have the wherewithal to fight for truth, freedom, and health. So you'll also learn more about this. But fundamentally, when you innovate, you learn how to think, not what to think, but how to think. And the Science of Systems course does that. By the way, those of you who want to come to the summit, again, it's this Saturday, August 27th at 11 a.m. It's free to all the Truth, Freedom, and Health warriors. Please join as a user so you get access. And then you can also become a warrior at truthfreedomhealth.com. That's the same place. And then this Thursday at 11 a.m., we have the open house from 11 a.m. and at 8 p.m. Okay, so you're welcome to join. Just go to vashiva.com/orientation and you can sign up. Okay, so fundamentally, what we'll be covering at the summit, we'll be getting to the 7 secrets of innovation. You'll learn what is a source of innovation. You learn what's the first step to be a successful innovator. You learn what does an innovator actually do. Who does an innovator serve? What's the difference between invention and innovation? What are the big legal issues as an innovator? And what do you have to do to really be successful? Okay, go to vashiva.com/join. And that, again, is a lecture series that'll be coming up. And by the way, this talk that we're going to be doing, we're going to be recording it. And it's going to be part of our this book that we have, the 7 Secrets of Innovation. We're going to convert it into a 7-part course that we're going to make available to children. It's going to be converted to a children's course. We actually have Sandy Garofano is here, who's our course director, along with Heather Leipe. They're going to be as part of this. Someone said, do we need to register for Saturday? Yes, Donna. So you can just go to, for those of you who are Truth, Freedom, and Health warriors, just go sign up, and it'll be accessible right online. Okay. All right, everyone. So that was just a quick preview. Again, this Saturday, we're going to be doing a big event on the 7 secrets of innovation. All of you are welcome to join. It's free to all the Truth, Freedom, and Health warrior scholars, and you'll have access. So please become a warrior scholar. And by the way, just want to point out, once you become a user of the system and you complete the course, you can give the license to as many kids as possible, absolutely free. So anyway, there you go. So that is what we're going to be discussing this Saturday. So I hope you guys all take advantage of that. Be well, be the light. Thank you.